Welcome to Follow Your Joy podcast, where intuition is the doorway to your wisdom, your genius, and your joy. I'm your host, Marla Diane, and I've been transforming creative entrepreneurs' lives for over 26 years. Through 2 businesses as a success coach and a business strategist, and prior to that, an entertainment publicist and a talent manager for 2 decades. It's time to make joy your inner GPS for life and business decisions rather than lean on your logic and reason first. You'll not only be following what is most authentic to you and for you, but you will live the beautiful life that's meant just for you. You'll come to learn that following your joy is a life and a business strategy. Listen in for inspiring entrepreneurial stories and solocasts that illuminate how by trusting your intuition, you'll create a fulfilling result. Want to learn how to access, trust, or up-level your intuition? Join me in the conversation to find out how. Happy New Year! Can you believe it? I'm still wrapping my head around that. So join me in feeling, grateful for 2022 with all its ups and downs we experienced. Without that, we have no polarity in our life. And it is in those challenges that we evolve, if we allow it. As I say, you got to find the gift in the challenge. So I had my share of both ups and downs for sure in 2022. And I do my best to be optimistic and see the glass as full. I was born with a happy chip in me. So when I'm not optimistic, I know I need to look at what's pulling me off course. Because my default is positivity. It's kind of like a superpower. What's yours? I was tested, though, in that positivity personally and in business this year, in varying emotions and thoughts, happy to humbling to confusing to WTF to celebration to not again to blessed and back to grateful. How about you? So I thought I would share with you and reveal the highlights of my year. See if you can relate. The first one is my extraordinary clients. Oh, their courage, their dedication, their earnest efforts to transform their lives and businesses. For that, I am always in awe and grateful for being a guide to people's next level success. It just feels so true for me. The next highlight is the launch of this podcast in June, and it was a labor of love and joy. It took 2 years, though, to find my sweet spot to want to launch it. I didn't want to just launch a podcast just because everyone else was doing one. It had to feel right. And in 2021, during my rebranding phase, the name Follow Your Joy came up when I allowed the ideas to come without any demand. It was over a few months where I was in that mode, just kind of in receiving mode. And within those months, a rebrand began to take shape, as did this long-awaited podcast. Right. So thank you to my team for making it a positive experience for all of us. And of course, thank you for being a listener. And hopefully you will stick around and join my loyal listeners. The next highlight, this is some of the down, and that is the agonizing pain of knowing my son is going through, what I call a dark night of the soul phase in his life at 31 years old. I'm praying from afar in hopes that he heals and finds the empathy of life with himself, his family, and humanity just in general. He chose to distance himself from me this year. And boy, that is not fun. I have to trust God's timing, though, and I pray for my son's generosity of spirit to return, because I know he has it. I know him really, really well. It's just buried. And as a mother, this phase is probably my biggest pain this year. Can you relate with that, moms and dads? Next highlight is I loved reuniting with close friends after 2 years of being held hostage from not being able to see people. Friendship, it's so precious, right? And things just, it's just different. It's so different after the pandemic. And you really, really need to, I'm finding, be extra caring and more patient and humbling with friends. Yeah. My next one is I became a brand ambassador for a high quality vegan skincare line and drinkable collagen billion-dollar company with my business coach and an extraordinary high achieving group of women. Kind of began in late February. So, a lot of joy, a lot of excitement in this. And I'm seeing this as a very smart investment strategy for retirement. If you're interested to try the products or know more, just DM me on Instagram or Facebook, or you can email me, support@marladiane.com, and I'll get you started. Okay. All right. In May, my beloved dog, Mojo, passed after 17 wonderful years together. Saying goodbye to him was crushing. We had a very deep soul connection, and the grief that came with that was unbearable at times. But thank goodness for learning animal communication from Danielle McKinnon and how to stay connected to him, and I have since. And I love it. He's not gone. He's right here, and he's right here in my heart. I turn grief into a proactive solution. So Mojo is his name. Mojo even helped me name and find my newly adopted sweet girl, Ruby, who came into my life in mid-November from Mayday Rescue Organization in LA. She is a dream come true and a big joy in my life. Oh. Next highlight is my third trip to Italy. Oh my gosh. That was in September. Finally, I had to wait like everyone else after the pandemic calmed down. And I went with a good friend and we visited Rome and the Amalfi Coast, which has been a long, long time bucket list of mine, was to finally go to the Amalfi Coast. And we were there in those two areas for 2 delightful weeks. You can listen to episode 18, where I go through my episode and I share kind of our adventure and how travel is a brand builder, right? Let's see, what's next? November, I traveled to North Carolina for the first time, and I loved it. I'd been wanting to travel there for quite a while. I visited beautiful Winston-Salem to spend some quality time with a client and her husband, and then a conference in Charlotte. So I'm kind of got that off my list. Definitely would love to visit that again. And I know there is definitely more, but this kind of gives you a feel of the ups and downs of the year, Yeah. So, our lives, precious, precious lives. So before I go into my main topic today, recession proof your money and your mindset checklist, I must share my take on creating a joy list, right? Follow your joy. So I want you to start by asking, how can you add more fun and pleasure into your life in 2023? Sit quietly over the next week as you're contemplating, your 2023 goals and filling them out in your new planner. And then sit and ask that question, how can I add more pleasure and fun into my life? When you jot down the answers, include them, in your goals. Now you have a joy list. Because here's my take on this: as a creative who is all work and little play is boring. Right? Allow yourself to laugh more, go after those long-held desires, receive more, lean back more. Okay. And by the way, that's from my blend of the masculine and feminine principles that I coach to every entrepreneur to help them attract more joy and money. You know, manifesting, creating, generating, money and anything that we want in life, it is not about massive action. It's not about go get it. It's not about that all the time, right? The feminine of life is the leaning back, and it's very powerful. The leaning back, the receiving of life. Okay, and that's a whole other topic that I talk about in a few of the other episodes. But I'm just encouraging you to shift your mindset a little bit. We've been so programmed that the only way we're going to create things in our life and results is by go, go, go and hustle and get it done. That is just simply not true. All right. When you add in the intangible of life, which is then, partnering with universal law and being in a receiving mode rather than a giving, doing, making it happen mode. All right, enough on that one. Anyway, there are proven facts why joy, fun, play, and delight are relevant to you achieving your goals and living more in alignment with your purpose. And so here are those facts. When you're not experiencing joy as a prominent feeling in your life, given any business or personal activity that you're engaged in, your body has a way of signaling a message. You're off track from your goals. I call this intuition. So listen to the joy or the lack thereof. You aspire to receive positive feedback in the form of pleasurable physical and emotional sensations in your body, right? The joy. That's a green light to keep going. This is how joy, one of several ways, how joy is a life strategy. It's not just a good feeling. Is that really listen to those, right, intuitive hunches that come in the form of joy. Okay. Well, look, and you may also need to clear the negative ego-driven thoughts that keep you from your joy. So be loyal to your joy, not your ego. Okay. And that ego in metaphysical terms means anything that's judgmental, fear, worry, doubt, lack. Okay. All right. The second proven fact why joy is absolutely relevant to you achieving your goals is when you're in your joy doing what lights you up, your vibe is high and attractive, which naturally generates more positive and creative thinking and more high vibe people. I mean, who doesn't love being around happy people? Okay. All right. The third proven fact is when you're in a state of joy more often, you become an attractor of the same vibe in experiences, goals, and more. You are vibrating, which is your etheric energy, at an abundant level, attracting more money, more ideal clients, ideal team members, friends, romance, etc. Because this is a disciplined consciousness. It's not always easy, but it's simple. It's a mindset first before it manifests physically. So to steer you in the right direction and give you, a jump start of ideas, I have a special download that I call 10 Fun Ideas to Amplify Your Creative Spirit. It's in the show notes, so we'll take a look. These are all pure fun. I challenge you again to add more fun, play, adventure, and delight in your life and business in this new year. And I'd love to know what some of your joys are. Find me on Instagram or, direct message me right on Facebook. Okay. All right. So let's now dive into an appropriate topic for current times, and that is recession proof your money and your mindset. All right. So, as a business and success mentor, several of my passions and roles are to help you elevate your worthiness and revenues, guide you where to focus for your best return on investment, and recommend expert resources to help you prosper in all areas of your life. So, I have access for you to this list in the show notes. It's an actionable checklist with tangible and intangible resources to help you not get seduced or pulled into the collective consciousness of worry and fear, right, about this so-called recession. So stay clear and prosperity minded. So let me talk to you a little bit about the premise to that checklist and a few of the items on the checklist. So according to Fannie Mae News, we are headed into a short-lived, modest recession with the housing market leading the charge. And from that article, which is on the checklist, the link will be there on the checklist. It reads, the economy continues to slide towards a modest recession, which we anticipate will begin in the new year with housing leading the slowdown, said Doug Duncan. He's Senior VP and Chief Economist of Fannie Mae. He continues, higher interest rates have ignited the typical reduction in residential fixed investment, which historically has led into either an economic slowdown or recession. From our perspective, the good news is that demographics remain favorable for housing, so the sector appears well positioned to help lead the economy out of what we expect to be a brief recession. Yay, right? So let's be prudent, be smart to stay on top of the news, but in moderation, right? And especially stay in your own lane. Right? We must take smart action to protect our financial portfolios and earnings and savings. But even more importantly, we must protect our mindset. Right? So, what is a financially stable, abundant mindset? Being abundant begins with feeling abundant. Whatever we think about our money will lead us to how we feel about money and abundance. That feeling is what gives off an energy, and that energy either supports our capacity to attract and earn money or blocks it. And what I've learned over the years from my mentors and what I teach is currency is energy. Okay, everything is made of energy. That's quantum physics. You cannot deny that. Money is an energy first before it shows up in your bank account. Okay. So if we want to earn more, attract more, have financial freedom, then we need to co-create from an energy of abundance rather than an energy of lack, fear, worry, doubt. Because if money, which it is made of energy, like everything else, is that it's going to read, if you will, our energy. In other words, we need to match the energy of that which we want to attract in our life. Okay, this is manifesting principles 101. And that is if our energy is in this low fear, worry, doubt, shame, guilt, lack around money, guess what? We're not going to be attracting it into our life because money vibrates high because it's a blessing. So you want to be, right? You want to be in that higher vibe, which is the abundant mindset, the trust, the faith. We live in an abundant universe, everybody, right? Okay, even in those times of uncertainty, and trust me, I have been there many times, but have always gotten through it by using these principles. Okay. So again, yes, is that if we want to earn more, attract more, have financial freedom, then we need to co-create. right? From the energy of abundance, etc., rather than, the energy of fear, worry. And that means be careful how much news you read and believe, right? Don't be seduced by the news out there. I take it even further. Not only have this non-negotiable energy of abundance, but take prudent actions that align with your desires and goals. It's the tangible with the intangible, right? That makes sense? Yeah. So as you navigate over the next few months, my short list of helpful resources will certainly help you in protecting your money, grow your money, protect your mindset, and keep you focused and thriving. And I'm going to list a few of those resources right now. And then again, in the show notes, you can get the link to the Recession Proof Your Money and Your Mindset. And I want to mention on a side note that these resources, I use myself, and there's no affiliate relationships here. This is just pure generous info. Okay. All right. So one of the resources is find a muse or two that you admire and read their stories. Like this one from Fortune magazine's most recent powerful women's issue. And the cover story is Melanie Perkins. She's the most celebrated technology CEO worth over $1 billion. She's co-founder and CEO of what we all know, Canva, the design software maker, which was valued by private investors at, get this, $40 billion in September 2021. It's an incredible story, right, that will give you hope, humble you, and show you how to vision and what a solid work ethic will do for you and take you far regardless of the economy. It's incredible. Valued at over 40 billion. Crazy. All right. Another one resource is, have you heard of hedge fund manager, New York Times best-selling author, educator, Phil Town? He tells his story on his site and his podcasts and his books, and during his popular investing workshop, by the way, that I took in 2016, and it changed my whole mindset and approach and abilities to be smart about building a portfolio, right, and how to go about buying companies for long-held strategies. So it was one of the better pieces of education I've done in building a wealth portfolio. So he writes on his website, I was extremely fortunate to have a mentor come into my life at a time when I was a Grand Canyon river guide, making only $4,000 a year, and teach me how to use a proven formula for investing that is built on the foundation of Ben Graham and Warren Buffett's strategy. Yep. That's what his workshop and all his content is based on. And he's been doing this over 30 years. What makes him unique in his approach is, he says, it's my mission to empower individual investors around the world to take control of their money and transform their lives through rule number one way. And his website and his whole platform is Rule One Investing. He's passionate about educating the everyday person to build generational wealth. And he continues to say often he wants to help people like you and me gain financial freedom by using simple principles that, of course, investors Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger have been using for over 80 years. He's written 3 books about them, all of which became New York Times bestsellers, as I mentioned. And he has spoken to, my goodness, about these principles to over 2 million people, right, including his year-round Rule One Investing workshop. And I have a link in that list where to find him. And a short video, one of his, weekly, I believe it's weekly videos that he does. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Okay. Another resource on the list is a new book called Wealth Habits: 6 Ordinary Steps to Achieve Extraordinary Financial Freedom by Candy Valentino, who leveraged her 24 years of experience into a fortune from creating successful businesses in multiple industries. And she teaches how to follow her systems in this book. Let me tell you, she's a no BS, straight facts woman that literally, helped her change her life. And she started at 19. And she was very street smart. She didn't go to college, but most of her wealth came from being a real estate investor, a business owner, and of course, a stock investor. Okay. And then lastly, that I'm going to share with you is the book Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks. And I have reference to this book a couple times in my podcast episodes, because this one is the mindset one, okay, and the vibration one. This is how you learn how to be conscious and focused on keeping your vibration high, because we're energy, right? We have a vibe. Right? How many times have you heard, obviously, the expression good vibes? That person feels good. They've got good vibes, or they have negative vibes. It's true, right? It's an actual truth. We vibrate at a certain level. And in the manifestation of your desires, you must match the vibration of that which you are wanting to manifest physically. So anyway, the book explains, and it's a world-renowned book, it's a classic, about keeping that point of attraction, right, the vibration, for manifesting your desires and goals. And then especially, I might add, in times of uncertainty, especially in times of uncertainty. So mindset is everything. Okay. So those are a few from my list. And to get the full list, checklist, use the link in the show notes. Okay. All right. So let's see what else I have here. Yep, that's it. Okay. So for a chat about doing a VIP strategy session to plan out your 2023 goals, email my team at support@marladiane.com, and we'll get on a Zoom call to see what's most important to you at this stage of your business and life, and see if a strategy session is a fit for your needs. Okay? We have outstanding guests and topics coming up this year, so stay tuned. Thank you for being a loyal listener, or if you're new, welcome. I hope you stay for a while to include the podcast in your weekly dose of inspiration and education. And I'm going to leave you with this. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you always be prosperous. May you be safe. And may you live with grace and ease in 2023. All right? Take care, and I'll talk with you next week. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening in. You can find more entrepreneurial stories and resources at marladiane.com. And while you're there, enjoy my 3 free downloads to up-level your business and your life. How about you take a screenshot of this episode and tag me on Instagram by sharing your highlights of what you learned today? I'd love to connect there with you. Until next episode, take care.